Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of LostinTranslationmon. This time we're covering Digimon Adventure: 2020, episode 52, Dance of the Heavens, Horomon. I'm May, and this time I'm joined by the lovely Evie.
Hello!
Quinn isn't joining us this week, but she will send through her thoughts when she has them, and I will add them to our overall ratings, but otherwise this time it's just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
That's basically... We can make it if we try, just the two of us, you and I. I only know that song because it was in Austin Powers, and I just want to point that out. Anyway, there's not really much housekeeping. As for the internet, I walked outside the other day, and there's just a different coloured, wire box now attached to my house. So that's something that's new. However, still no internal modem that is unique to every house. So I don't have that part. We have the external part. So still no internet, basically, is what I'm saying. But hopefully they're trying to... Our ISP's trying to charge us an extra $300 just for them to come out here. But I'm like, no, that's not actually meant to happen. But anyway, we don't have internet yet, and that's my housekeeping. That's my weekly I don't have internet update. So still doing it on the temporary 4G modem. The episode starts up with Sora and Taichi flying overhead in some Mechanorimon, but they end up crashing because of some smoke, and a bunch of Digimon end up rescuing them, including a new Digimon called Junkmon, who is from the Pendulum Z. So it's just really nice to see these new Digimon popping up, right?
Yeah, and I like Junkmon's design. It's like a beaver with a
too.
cannon on its back.
And little wheels, I don't know, I saw Junkmon's art for the Pendulum Z Virtual Pet, and I saw him in the card game, but I don't know, I wasn't that fond of him until I actually saw him in the anime actually existing, and he also just reminds me of a character from the Hamtaro TV show. He reminds me of Boss, who was kind of like this rough little digging worker little hamster friend, and I don't know, it just made me think of Hamtaro, which made me happy because I liked Hamtaro as a kid. So yeah, that was a thing. Junkmon's cute, but we also see some other Digimon like Floramon and Kamemon and a bunch of different Digimon it's just really nice to see, especially Floramon. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
So the characters are at this work site, and it's very strict with the OH&S, and the Digimon are all building a wall for the lava from the volcano, and Beomon wonders why they don't just leave, and Junkmon just explains that they like the island, and they don't want to just leave because they like the island, it's their home, and I'm kind of surprised and glad that they mentioned this, because otherwise it'd be like, that's a very good question, why don't they just leave? But no, this is their home, that's their island, they don't want to leave, and they addressed it, and I'm pretty happy with them addressing it.
Yeah, I'm glad they addressed it, even though I cannot relate to liking the island. All the shots of it just make it look like a big black mess that's just a volcano.
Yeah, it doesn't really look... we didn't see any shots of the island that aren't part of the volcano. It just looks like it's just one of those volcanic islands that nobody should live on until, eventually the volcano causes the island to expand and then we get a huge bit of land. That'd be cool. Or if they could have said, but we want it to become a new continent in a few generations. So I don't know.
All it needed is some foliage, and then it would look pleasant.
Yeah, if they gave it a foliage with some baby Digimon hanging out, that would have made it more meaningful. But I still get it. It's the sort of island that I can't see the appeal of, but there's clearly an appeal to it. So because of these Digimon, it's one mon's trash is another one's island. I guess I don't know.
I just don't get why Floramon would want to live near a volcano.
Yeah. I understand, Junkmon, because he's kind of a little digging beaver friend, and there's water, and Kamemon because there's water, and I guess there's a few, dragon and rock-looking Digimon there that would probably want to hang out, but yeah, Floramon's kind of I wish they instead of having the evolution to Greymon and Metal Greymon later on they could have spent, 30 seconds saying that Floramon's helping build some forest area of the island or something.
Yeah.
We love this island and we're trying to build it into a special island. Spend 30 seconds doing that and I would probably care, but I don't, otherwise I'm just nitpicking. Otherwise it's that they gave a reason, they like the island, and I'm not going to tell them that they shouldn't like the island just because I think that they could have a tree there. It's fine.
I'm just going to assume that Floramon are adrenaline junkies and living life on the edge.
I like that. I really, really like that. That is now my new headcanon. We've got, like, extreme punk Floramon, who's just, like, really into, like, extreme sports, constantly has different injuries from extreme sports, but does not care. We see one clip of, like, Floramon just, like, you know, ripping a gnarly wave and, like, whoa, hang ten, like, you know, doing some things, or, like, hell, still on a surfboard, but riding down some lava. Like, that's intense.
Just does not care.
I want this, like, edgy little Floramon who, like, I don't know, maybe part of her flower on her head's, like, a little bit wilted from the extreme sports. And, like, I don't know, I'm now in love with this Floramon that it does not even exist in the canon. Like, why didn't this edgy little Floramon exist? That's what I want to know. Anyway, so Sora says that they should help out so they can try to stop this lava from when the volcano erupts. Junkmon makes them wear helmets, which is really, really cute, except I'm fairly certain that Sora was already wearing one, right?
I think so.
Like,
she usually has one, or is it a hat?
I don't know, like, it's a beanie, but it's also... the show has never been consistent with what it is. Like, even in Original Adventure, we had a scene of her, like, hitting on it like a drum, but we also had it, like, folded up in a drawer like a beanie. So I legitimately do not understand this helmet, and I haven't understood it my entire Digimon watching life since the first season. But I guess this makes it clear that it's not a helmet?
I guess.
Like, I don't know. So she wears an actual helmet in this episode.
Yeah, so does Taichi, and it's hilarious because his hair just gets smooshed.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they actually drew the hair being smooshed, and it's not just like... They didn't just make it just on top of the hair. Like, I don't know why I would expect them to do that. Because he has so much hair and it has to go somewhere, but they clearly... They drew the hair, but they drew it like actually how it would go. I just appreciate a lot. There's a lot of parts in this episode I actually appreciate, and that's one of them. Taichi's adorable hair.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit like Takato as well. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm watching a lot of Tamers at the moment. I'm thinking about Tamers a lot.
And I love the goggles just going over the helmet as well.
Yeah, that is surprising. But I feel like, I don't know, that doesn't seem very safe.
Safety first.
Yeah, which is the best part of this, was just them saying that over and over again. It's adorable. Like, I love this OHS nut boss. I love him so much. I love Junkmon. Junkmon's one of my favorite Digimon now. He literally just debuted in a virtual pet in March, and I'm just like, that one. I like him. I like what he does. I have a lot of adoration for this little friend. So they all wear helmets and they start working. And they work really hard, and we get a nice sort of, like, montage of them working. But then the volcano causes a workplace accident, and Biyomon gets, like, terribly injured under some rubble. Like, she is just buried and breaks an arm/wing. And it's just, I'm just sitting here like, oh, no. Like, this accident made me, like, almost cringe in pain.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just looked like a bad one.
She was under there for a good while.
Yeah, which is, like... I swear this is I feel like one of the only episodes of Digimon that has a trouble of the week that's not a monster. Like, they are just fighting natural disasters and natural causes this week, and I kind of like that. But this feels like this is one of the only times I can remember them actually looking like they are injured. Like, out of all the fights that we've had, this one actually looked painful, and which is praise for the episode. Like, it looked like a bad injury, and I was worried for Biyomon, and she was in a sling. I mean, she did recover fairly quickly. Like, she did just sort of rip the sling off, and I kind of expected her to, as soon as Sora turned around after she ripped the sling off, like, her wincing in pain. Like, I kind of expected that. But this injury, like, felt... I don't know, it felt pretty meaningful, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it felt like it actually had an impact.
Yeah, like, it wasn't just like, oh no, she's been, like, hit by something and she's kind of, like, wincing in pain. We actually saw her under the rubble and then being injured.
Do you know what it wasn't?
It
wasn't Sora getting hit with a freeze blast that basically didn't do anything the whole episode.
Oh yeah, and she was coloured blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is much better.
Yeah, that's sort of like one of those... Oh, they're injured, but it's magic injury.
Which
Digimon likes having a magic injury like this.
Yeah, like this was real because it was physical damage. Like, you can relate to someone actually breaking an arm. Like, that's something that happens to people.
Yeah, like this is actually like... This is something that somebody could do, and I'm sure many people who do work on work sites, I'm sure this is a very real thing for them. Like, it just, yeah, I'm worried of Beamon, which is, well done episode. You did an injury that made me worry about a character, but also the injury is not unique to Digimon. This injury could happen in the real life, so maybe that's just why.
Yeah.
Sora is extremely pumped to still help out, and it's kind of interesting how her version of love in this series isn't so much the straightforward, I love you, you love your friends, you love your family, you love your partner sort of love. It's like the level of love and care that she has for other living beings. It just, I don't know, it kind of... It's an interesting comparison. I'm not saying it's bad. It's a lot less kind of... I don't know, I'm trying to put words to it. It's less, I don't know, it's less obvious as a definition for love. I think that's what I'm going with. It's not... It's not like, you know, when you think of love, it's when you love something. Like, you love your friends, you love family, whatever. But this is like actual love and care that you can express. It's more of the overall emotion of love and the overall emotion of care. And I kind of enjoy that this is a different perspective on what having love is. It's not just generic. I almost said general and generic, and then I would combine them both. Generic and general love for a thing. It's caring, and it's also having trust. So it's having trust in something as well as caring about something. And I do appreciate that this show is going in a different route than just the way it was in the original adventure, or the way you would possibly think about love being this straightforward thing. It's just like, oh, you love something, you love it. And this is sort of like, oh no, it's caring for other things, it's protecting things, it's a whole range of different things that you can feel. It's just something, we've seen it in a lot of the Sora episodes. Like, we had it when she was in the Canon Beamon episode, which was the Garudamon debut, when she was protecting Joe and protecting the Digimon there and saving everything. That was her caring about other living things, and we've seen her being quite a caring person. So this episode is sort of like, she cares and loves for other beings, but it's also to do with the trust she has in Beamon, when Beamon is saying that she can still help and doesn't really want her to help because she's worried about her, but doesn't really trust in Beamon's words of just like, no, I'm okay, let me help. I know, it's just something that I enjoyed in this series overall, is just the different takes on the individual characters' crests. They feel like they've been expanded on a little bit more than the original series, which is just like, oh, that's the crest of love. You love your mother, that sort of thing. Or your mother loves you. The crest of friendship is, you're my friend, Joe. The crest of courage is, I'm gonna go jump through this electric fence. The crest of hope is just like, I hope that my brother doesn't die. It's very straightforward. And then there's light, which is just like, I'm Jesus, I guess. Like, they're very straightforward answers that the original series has, but this one tries to expand upon it into different ways about what each of these individual crests and traits could actually be more than just, you know, a simple feeling. They're expanded on a few other things. Like, Takeru's hope is more surrounded in the people around him and the people putting hope in him, and he having hope in other people. While Yamato's friendship is the people who have friendship for him, and the friendship that he feels for others, as well as the friendship that people feel for him, and the friendship that he witnesses with other people. So it's more than just what they have in the original. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, like, the sort of, like, concepts they've gone with the crest this time seems a lot more sort of vague and broad, so they can do a bit more with it. Yeah,
it does feel broader, and it's more like, it involves other people into that trait rather than just this is one person's trait and it's how they experience this trait, but it's like a shared experience of this trait. So it feels less selfish, like for an individual. I I don't know, it's just a different thing that I've noticed, and I've noticed a few times this series, and I think I've brought it up a few times about how even though the crests haven't been really named yet, they still seem to follow that sort of, what each crest is a different trait, but they've made it a bit broader.
I'd say as well that
Beomon still wants to help you.
Sorry, I'd say as well that I think.
Oh no, go on.
I think the Digimon have played a bit more of a part in the crests as well this time around.
Yeah, it's like how the Digimon experiences that trait as well, rather than just the human. So it feels broader, and they've also spent a little bit more time playing around with that. Like, in the original, we only really had that trait come up in each evolution episode. In this one, it's like whenever that character gets like a bit of focus, that trait is sort of brought up in some way, or we expand on that trait, and that's kind of cool. Like, I respect that. But yeah, I just wanted to cover that just a little bit, because I think that it's something that this series is potentially doing pretty well. And I know we haven't been really saying what the series has been doing well lately, but this episode kind of reminded me that this show has done a few things well. Not all of them, but a few things. And that is one of them. Anyway, so back to the synopsis. So we have Beomon wanting to help, but Sora is worried for Beomon helping and doesn't let Beomon help, even though Junkmon basically says, "Oh yeah, Beomon, if you feel up to it, you can still help." And we get kind of an interaction that reminds me of the interaction between Sora and Beomon in the original adventure Garudamon debut episode, where it's like Sora's saying, "Oh no, it's for your own good. I'm doing this because I care about you," but it goes off in a different way. And Beomon just says that she hates Sora, and then she just runs off. And I think this is the first time in this series we've actually seen a Digimon and their partner, like, fight. Maybe in the Gomamon Joe episode, like in episode 7, I want to say. I think there was a bit of that, but this is like an actual fight they're having, right?
Oh, definitely.
Which feels unique to this show. I feel like we haven't had much fighting between the Digimon and the partner. Like, we've actually given Beomon a personality this episode, which is nice, considering I'm fairly certain last episode we were complaining about the lack of personality in a few of the Digimon.
Yeah, like, it's not very often that the partner Digimon leaves the partner because they're upset.
No, it does happen in all of Digimon. It has happened a few times. Like, we had Gumdramon left Tagadu. We had Ogumon in Savers leaving Masaru. We've had Gomamon in Tri leaving. We have, I think, Atmon ran away Gatchmon ran away in Atmon. I feel like, Patamon and Takaru in the original adventure.
Oh yeah, they had
as well.
Their big fallout.
Yeah, in the in the Ferris wheel theme park part with Devimon.
When Patamon was still Tokamon.
Yeah, when Patamon was still Tokamon. So we've had it in other seasons, but I don't know, I usually hate those episodes, by the way. I feel like they're always really annoying, and they're over something I just do not understand. Like, just feels like an overreaction, but this one seemed, like, realistic almost. Like, you could kind of see both of their sides. Like, you don't know who you would side with, because Sora is worried about Beomon, and that's a general, like, that's just a genuine feeling that you would have. You would worry about your friend who was just in a sling like 5 seconds ago. But you can also see Beomon's pain of just, Beomon wants Sora to trust that she's okay because she feels better now and she really wants to help, and she's just annoyed that she can't help even in the smallest way of just like helping carrying some stuff. Like, Beomon says that she feels better, but Sora doesn't believe her, and that's really annoying for her. So you can kind of see both sides, which makes me feel like this is probably, I mean, this isn't the best episode of Digimon overall, this isn't the best episode of this season, but it's definitely the best episode that has this partner Digimon and human chosen child argument, and they separate, and that one says they hate the other. Because in every other episode, it has just been so annoying, and it's been over something so minor. But this one actually felt like kind of like genuine and realistic, especially because you kind of don't know who to side with, because both of them have fairly reasonable stances. Would you agree?
Yeah, like, in a lot of past episodes, the reason feels contrived. Like, at the end of it, it doesn't feel like they've really resolved what they were arguing about in the first place. But in this one, I
Yeah.
definitely felt like they both had their points and they both just communicated them to each other and actually
Yeah.
managed to reach an understanding about like why they'd fallen out.
Yeah, and like when after I watched this episode, I was kind of like, oh, I'm not really sure about this. This is kind of like just an okay episode, I guess. But talking about it, I'm just like, I did this episode I actually liked. I like this episode. I mean, it's still not the best episode, but it is definitely better than a chunk we've had. And it actually made me care about Sora and Biomon. And they previously haven't really had much in terms of characterization. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's nice to have a little reminder that they can write characters from time to time.
Yeah, and they can write Sora's character.
Yeah.
They just don't want to. Sora and Junkmon talk, and Sora asks if he does all the dangerous jobs to protect the others, and he says no, they protect me as much as I protect them, and this whole wall is actually made on the trust between everyone. And Sora looks kind of guilty that, you know, she doesn't really have trust for Biomon. Like, she didn't trust in Biomon's word that she's feeling well enough to help. And then the volcano looks like it's erupting again, and Junkmon beats his tail on the ground, which is adorable, by the way. Mm-hmm. And this is a signal for everyone to evacuate. And Junkmon says that the wall will buy them time, and everyone should just all evacuate. Taichi gets Agumon to evolve, and we get an animated sequence. And then when Biomon sees Metal Greymon, she kind of runs towards where Sora is. Back to Junkmon and Sora. Junkmon is kind of like letting Sora ride around on him, which is kind of like adorable, like his little go-kart. But he crashes, which is sad. And Sora calls out to Biomon to evolve, but she realizes that she's not around. And so Sora carries Junkmon away. And then Biomon appears and apologizes, and Sora does too. And Biomon evolves to Bergermon, and they give Junkmon to Metal Greymon, and they say that they're going to stop the lava. Sora puts on her real helmet now, so that's important, because it fell off when Junkmon crashed. And Bergermon evolves to Garudamon, and then Garudamon and Sora just straight up die and get covered by lava.
They do.
But it's just kind of weird. It's like, oh no, they're actually just being straight up covered in lava, just engulfed and enveloped in this big thing of lava. Like, nobody could survive that, but they have, like, plot armor, I guess, which is fine. They're glowing. And also, I love this sort of... This is just like the thematic of a phoenix rising from the ashes is kind of great. Like, it's weird that Sora's there too. That is weird.
I think Digivice bubbles are pretty much confirmed at this point. Like, how else can you explain this?
Yeah. The existence of Digivice bubbles makes a lot of this series less confusing when they can just like, oh no, they're alive because Digivice bubbles? Question mark? Even though sometimes it's very clear that they do get hit, and like Taichi's been knocked off Greymon before, like maybe twice, and there's been no bubble then, but otherwise it's just like, yeah, sure, just engulf them in lava, what a mood. But they believe in each other now, so Garudamon evolves to Ho-Omon, and Ho-Omon that says that Sora's love filled her with power, and I'm just sitting there like, where have we heard that before? Huh?
Sounds kind of familiar.
But I like that. I like that I'm fairly certain that's almost word for word what was said in the original episode in Japanese. I would have to go back and check. I don't feel like doing that, but it feels very, very similar. It's not quite the English dub's, Sora, I can feel your love. It's making me strong. It's not that, but it may as well be.
It's close enough.
I need to just grab that clip from this episode and then just smush on the English dub of just like Sora, because it is just so fun. It's one of those funny dub moments. It's up there with Phantomon and his No Easy Task, which I reference like I want to say like twice a week. It's just the dub is good. Mm-hmm. Everyone else who says otherwise, just let me have this. Anyway, so Garudamon evolves to Ho-Omon, and they're able to stop the lava. And then after they've reverted, Biomon says that she loves Sora, and Sora says she loves Biomon. And then I'm just sitting here thinking that This episode is kind of like a cute mash, and I know that, yes, we shouldn't be comparing it to the original series, but I like to in some points. Like, it's not saying one is better than the other, it's just saying how other seasons did it. And this episode just feels like a really cute mash between the Bergermon debut and the Garudamon debut in the original adventure. Like, both have Biyomon being unwell or hurt, and also they have Biyomon and Sora not communicating on the same wavelength. And also there's like a mountain with some hot thing running down it. But one time is fireman, second time is lava. So lava man and actual lava is a bit different.
There's also
there's
also Sora thinking about how Biyomon's always been with her, like the whole time since they've met.
Yeah. Which is fair, because they have been. And then we have the Digivice compass directional GPS thing going off again, and Taichi's just pointing elsewhere again, like, it is just very much going to be Taichi's just jumping between the plots.
Yeah. Which
is the funniest thing to me in all of this series. Like, I'm not even mad. It is just so funny. Like, we have Taichi Digivice pointing everywhere, and Junkmon's like, hey, let's go to the onsen, because that's where the plot is. It is just so funny, because we have Taichi saying, yes, that's where Hikari and Joe and TK are. Let's go to the onsen. It's just like, that's the next episode. It's just, I'm not even mad. I am not even mad, because at this point it's just funny. And also, I'm fine with this series following Taichi, as long as we get episodes like this, where Taichi is just kind of there.
Yeah, I think there's a positive to be taken from this, which is that Taichi's going to be in every episode regardless of the plot. That kind of just means that he's not really necessary for any of them, so he's just going to be there.
Yeah, he is the viewer at this point.
Yeah, like, he doesn't have his own plot at the moment. He's just there to be on screen and sell the Agumon toys.
He's the camera. He's Tide camera.
He's Todd Snap.
That is him. He's just the Pokemon Snap guy, but for Digimon. Because that's his role now. He is just the camera, we can see through him, and that is his purpose. Anyway, so in the Digimon Encyclopedia, we get Biyomon introducing us to Biyomon, or to Hoemon rather. And she says how she feels odd with flying with 2 wings after flying with 4, and we're going to learn about Tonosama Gekomon in next week's Digimon Analyzer. So, I guess no Vikemon ?
Can we have karaoke, please? Karaoke would be fun, but I don't think they'll do it.
Alright, so now we've discussed the synopsis, let's discuss the discussions. What were our highlights this week?
I like that Sora got to speak.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm glad that Taichi didn't get to speak as much. Like, he as I said in the synopsis, he was just kind of there.
Basically.
And I'm a big fan of that.
Metal Greymon's one job was to evacuate, and then that was it.
Yeah,
that was his contribution.
And taking like a 40-second evolution animation sequence.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, it was good. And I like that. Like, if we're going to have Taichi there for every episode, like, just have him, as we said just like literally 2 minutes ago, just have him like in a corner just watching. Have him be the camera for us. That's fine. My other highlight was, and I've mentioned a lot about this in the synopsis part, but I do really appreciate how it's sort of like a different, broader perspective on the concept of love. It's not just like a straightforward, this is just love, you love something. It's expanding a little bit on that. It's more than just a very simple feeling. And it's about trust, and it's about a whole bunch of other aspects, about trust and care and having faith in something. And I really liked that. Like, it was a nice sort of broader look on the concept of love. And I really appreciated that. And I won't go on about it too much, because I think I went on about it too much in the synopsis about it. But I'm sure you get my general idea about how I kind of appreciate this broader concept of crests that they have. But they haven't named anything yet, which is still weird to me.
They said the word love. They're basically there.
Look, they said the word trust more than love in this episode, and protect, and also safety. So if that's anything to go by, it's the crest of safety.
Crest of safety first.
Yeah, which is a good crest to have. It's the crest of OH&S. Like, that's important. Other highlights, I like that this is a Digimon and their human partner fighting, but it's not annoying like it is in previous seasons. It's realistic. It's not just this contrived little, we've got to separate them and have them get back together by the end of the episode, so let's have a stupid reason why they're fighting that makes no sense and makes you a little bit annoyed when you watch it as an adult. This was kind of like, oh no, this is a realistic fight. Both of them are being like, you can kind of see where they're coming from, so no one's being annoyingly unreasonable, and I do like that. It makes me feel like it's a more realistic fight, because sometimes you just have arguments like this. It just happens.
Yeah, like Sora's reaction was pretty realistic. Just like her friend got really hurt, and she didn't want her to be put in more danger.
Yeah, and you can also see that Biomon's perspective was, she says she feels fine. She wants to help. Why can't she help? Why won't Sora just trust her that she is feeling okay? But again, if you had a friend who you just saw break their arm, basically, you would kind of be a little bit hesitant to have them do anything. So yeah, both sides are completely reasonable and realistic, and it's kind of like being on the outside, you don't know which side you would pick. You'd be kind of like in the middle going, oh gee, this is a toughie, oh gee. Like, it's just one of those. And I also really liked that it's not just bring out a monster of the week to have the evolution to fight. That's just kind of, you don't need to have a monster of the week. It's like last week we said that they could have spent more time with the lore and the plot rather than having the monster of the week. And this time they didn't really have a monster of the week. They had a threat, but it was a natural disaster, like not a monster that they had to fight. But it was still something that they needed to evolve to be able to help. But it just, I don't know, it was kind of cool. And also that the whole imagery of just like a phoenix rising from the ashes, even if Sora should be just straight up dead, whatever, Digivice, magic bubbles, whatever, it feels nice. Any other highlights?
I still like the ending theme song every week. It's so good.
And we don't know about any new one coming, so we have it for a few weeks now at least.
I hope it sticks around.
I think it will, because as I think I've mentioned, that it's usually like when there's 3 weeks to go on an ending animation and song, we kind of get like a preview of the next one, or we get some like concept drawings from art from it, but we haven't had anything yet. So I'm kind of sitting here like, I don't think we're getting another one, because I can't imagine us get one for like the last like 10 episodes. And if we are getting one, that's when it would be for. It'd be the last 10 episodes. So maybe. Oh no, I have no idea in the direction of when this is going. Considering the preview for the next episode doesn't seem like we're getting a Vicomon. But I have more to say about the preview when we get to the outro part, so I'll hold off for that for the moment. Any other highlights besides the music, which is always great?
Junkmon was great as well.
Oh yeah, Junkmon.
Very fun character.
Spoilers for like 10 minutes from now, when I say my favourite character, it's Junkmon, because I love Junkmon. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be able to choose between Sora and Biyomon because they were both pretty great. So I chose Junkmon because, like, can you blame me? The dude's like adorable little like go-kart beaver worker friend. I love him. So I'm gonna start I've got to start the Pendulum Z with Junkmon on it now, because like I love him. Any thoughts? Any other highlights, thoughts?
I think I'm done. Like, this was just overall a pretty positive episode.
Yeah, Sam, I can't think of any lowlights, really.
I still think the Bergermon Digivolution animation is kind of underwhelming, so I'm glad they've only used it 3 times.
Yeah, I think that it's also slightly different each time. Like, I think it depends on the situation.
It's just fire.
Yeah, but yeah, I see what you mean. On the other hand, I guess my lowlight would be still weird that we got the full animated sequence for Agumon this week. It's still really weird, and I don't like it. I don't like him. I don't like it because the other characters don't have one. I like it because I don't like it because it's there. Like, I think it takes away from the show. Like, it feels more like one of those eye catchers that happen in the middle of the show. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like a bookmark. It doesn't feel like it fits. the evolutions that we have for the other kids where they just sort of change on the screen, it makes it feel like it's more reasonable to be there. The Agumon one and the Gabumon ones just don't make sense to be there. I just don't like them. They just don't look good in my opinion. But that's basically my lowlights. I just don't have I don't have that many lowlights for this episode. As I said, it's not like the best episode, but it's definitely like I'd be happy with more episodes like this.
Yeah, this episode was fun. I did find them saying safety first over and over got a little bit repetitive by the end, but that's like the minorest complaint.
Yeah. I thought that was cute. Like, it kind of felt like any other kid's show. I don't know. It felt kind of like this is something I expect from a kid's show, so I'm not going to, like, think about it too much.
I guess they were just kind of trying to drill it into the viewers' heads that this is the mindset Sora has right now.
Yeah.
It's like, safety first above all else.
Yeah. Any other lowlights?
No, I can't think of much.
Oh, I do have one. It's very minor. It's not even important, but I'm just going to mention it because I just remembered it. There is, like, this weird shot of Taichi where he's talking to Koshiro on the Digivice. And I put this up on Twitter, and I'll just send it into the Discord chat just right now so you can see Evie. But Taichi just looks like there's something wrong with him. He looks like maybe he's lost weight, or he looks different. Like, I just can't put my finger on it, but there's something that doesn't look right about him in that. And it's just, it's
his
so
head
minor,
looks slightly too far to the left to me.
Yeah, there's just
It's the
I know
tiniest
there's something
thing.
about the angle. It's the tiniest thing, but it's just so upsetting. It just doesn't look right. And it's just, it's very minor. It's not even a low light, I guess, because it's just so minor. I don't care.
Oh, I forgot there were
it's just
Mushroomon as well.
Oh yeah, Mushroomon, another Digimon that's nice to see, but also, why are you there?
Why do you live with fire?
I want... Yeah, it's Floramon and Mushroomon. Look, why is Mushroomon not cooked?
That'd be such a cute touch.
Like, he's just slightly... I mean,
He should
there
just
were
be
Mushroomon
singed.
looked a little bit weird. Yeah, he's just, like, singed, or, like, it's like someone's trying to eat him because he probably smells good because he's just cooking mushrooms at that point. I don't know, it was kind of nice seeing these Digimon in the background, but it felt kind of like the animators and the writers have just kind of spun a wheel that points to any particular Digimon, because it just felt random. Like, Kamimon's cute, has a helmet near water, that's fine. He's a turtle, I don't care. Junkmon obviously is fine, but it's Floramon and Mushroomon?
I mean,
come on.
are they going for, like, just sort of a helmet aesthetic? Because they all kind of look like they have some sort of hat on.
Yeah, but...
That's, like, the only thing I can think of. Like,
yeah, I see what you mean there. Okay, that's more understandable. But for on the surface, it's just kind of like they just spun a twister wheel pointing to different Digimon.
yeah, like, a safety helmet won't defend the vegetable from fire.
No, especially when the safety helmet is made out of vegetables.
Exactly.
Like, please, come on. Anyway, favourite characters. I already said mine. Surprising no one. It's Junkmon. It hasn't changed in the last, 5 minutes. I love Junkmon. Very cute. Evie, your favourite?
I'm gonna go with Piomon, who's gone from having
that is fair.
no personality all series to actually having one this episode.
Yeah.
It's always appreciated.
I will allow that. I would have chosen that. But yeah, Junkmon was just too good.
Yeah, Junkmon, close runner-up.
Junkmon's great. As for our rating out of 5, this one's hard for me because, when I was watching it, I was like, okay, fine, this is a 3. But talking about it, honestly, I think it's gone up because there's just so much that this episode has to appreciate. And maybe it's because it's things that the other episodes haven't had. But I think I'm going to have to say it's like a 3.5.
That sounds reasonable.
Because I liked this episode, and talking about it just made me realise that it's better than just a 3. Like, it's not perfect, of course.
No, it's mega level.
In terms of... that's a good one.
I'm mixing up the dub and sub.
I like this.
It's ultimate.
No, that's
it's ultimate in the sub, isn't it, for this level?
Yeah, but I actually like saying perfect and then mega because it confuses nobody. Like, because Ultimate, even when I'm reading Ultimate, I'm saying, I have to like double check, like, okay, are we talking about English Ultimate? Are we talking about Japanese Ultimate? What are we talking about? But if we say perfect and mega, I understand. So I like when we say perfect and then mega, because honestly, that is the easiest way for my monkey brain to comprehend what levels we're talking about. Evie, what did you give this episode?
I'm gonna give this a 4.
That's fair. That is fair.
Honestly,
I was kind of like, after
character-driven
talking
episodes.
about it, I was like, yeah. And also, like, this episode could have been filler, but I still really liked it. Like, it's one of those episodes, like, it's filler, but I just really like it. And also, no Mon of the Week. That's really good. So, yeah, that's a reasonable score. In terms of, like, our overall ranking, we don't have Quinn's numbers in, but already it's better than, like, it's, okay, put it this way, our combined 7.5, which from just 2 of us, is already better than the last 5 episodes combined with 3 people's ratings. Like, it's already, like, the one before, like, it went 6.5, 6.5, 7.5, 7.5, and then 6. And this is a 7.5 with just 2 people's rating. So, I guess that's good. So if Quinn likes this episode...
Why have I given so many 4s? This is so hard now to place this.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's like me with, like, I've been giving a lot of 3s as, like, a middle ground, but also, like, yeah, I think 3.5 is actually, like, my most common score, or 4s, I guess. But I like this episode, and I'm probably going to have to alter where I put in the rating, because, yeah, after talking about this, I really liked it.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I think it's okay where it is, considering all my 3.5s I've given, which has it in 32nd place for me, which... I don't know, I feel like it is at the middle ground of the episodes, I feel. It's still not as good as other episodes, but it's a lot better than, like, the chunk of episodes we've had lately. And I guess our combined rating of 7.5 can already speak for that, which is already higher than all of the episodes we've said are terrible. So it's good, I guess. Where are we putting it in your ranking, Evie?
I think I'm going to put this in 12th place.
Ooh,
so it's just below the Sword of Hope.
So that's good. So between 46 and 45. Oh, I wish I could use Excel. I'm actually quite good with Excel, but apparently not right now. Actually, I think I might put mine a bit higher, just because it's just a lot better than some of these. Okay, I found where I'm gonna put it. I am going to put it... still thinking, apparently. Nope, I'm gonna put it in... It's now in 18th place. Pachow,
nice.
There it is. The more I think about this episode, the more I like it. It's one of those episodes where you watch it and you're kind of like, oh, I just watched a TV show. And then you think about it, like, hey, I like this a lot. And I guess it's also me thinking about the episodes that I haven't liked. And I'm just like, oh, no, this is good. All episodes should be this or better.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. And I know we keep on saying, like, oh, if every episode's like this, then it'll be a good show. And we're running out of time for that to happen. We need literally every single episode after this one to be above this one. And then the episode that the season will be passable. So please show you are running out of time. Our overall ranking is kind of hard. I might wait until we have Quinn's to do that, because if Quinn really likes this episode, this will be a high-ranking episode. If Quinn doesn't like this episode, it'll be like an average ranking episode still, because our combined rating's 7.5. And look, we've given like ratings of 4, like our overall rating being 4 for things before. So, which is like, that was the Metal Marmimon episode, by the way, where they're falling from the sky, was a combined 4. And episode 30 was a combined 4, which was War Greymon. So we've done some very low ratings on this show. Anyway, so yeah, we'll wait for the overall ratings for Quinn to come back. Next is questions and comments from YouTube. But before then, do you have any other thoughts that you want to say before we get to that?
I like when characters are characters.
Oh yeah, same. And also this episode totally shows us that the show can care about characters and can do something that we like. Yeah. Anyway, so on to the comments on YouTube. First up, we have Connor, who says, since there are only 15 episodes left, they guess that there isn't going to be a Digimon in the Human World arc. And no, I guess not. I think we kind of had that sort of already, but we saw that Digimon can't really be in the human world. They kind of just hang out on the Digivice in some digital, in the net area, I guess. But, which is kind of sad because I do like the Digimon in the human world, but yeah, we're not going to have that. Next, we have Sleek Emu 7, who says, remember that comment that they made about betting that they will have a separation arc? Well, they did it again. Why can't we just have the kids be together and evolve? They barely see the characters as friends, they barely have friendship interactions, and how are they going to take this possible main villain seriously about after what happened with Xene Millenniumon, which they considered by the fandom as the strongest Digimon in all of the franchise? What Digimon can be more powerful than Xene Millenniumon? And I mean, we kind of see, and I think I mentioned this, what these Digimon are, but they're called question mark on the Digivice toy. So, yeah, I guess it's like a Digimon that doesn't really exist yet, in terms of we don't know about it. It'll be a completely unique Digimon, which, big fan of, by the way. It's nice that we're going to get an original bad guy. I'm not sure it was just going to be Algomon evolved again, which I wouldn't be opposed to. If that's the case, it's just at least it's something different. Like, well, not different, but different from the other seasons, except for Sabers, which had Algomon, but just forget about that. And it's something that we already had in the show early on. Anyway, Sleek Emu then finishes off by saying that they're going to rate each of these characters, so Taichi gets an F, annoying Gary Stu, Sora gets a C, forgettable character, Yamato gets a C, barely remember anything about him, Koshiro gets a C-, annoying sometimes with his exposition, Joe also gets a C-, even more forgettable character, Mimi gets a B, she's fine, but she doesn't have any development, Takeru gets a B, he's good, but he kind of barely appears much, and Hikaru gets a D because she's blind and even more boring than the original. And yeah, like, for the most part, I kind of get what they're saying. I think Mimi is great in all seasons. I'm glad the writers finally acknowledge that. Next, we have Ray of Truth, who says V-Tamer is the literal Taichi show, but actually good. And yeah, completely agree. There is Taichi. He is the main character. There are other characters, but it is Taichi's show. But I like it. I love V-Tamer. V-Tamer is so good. Ray of Truth says that the episode was clever, feeding Bertmon data, so they could get him to stop hunger rampaging without having to kill them, but then they just killed both Bertmon and any goodwill they have towards the episode. R.I.P. Bertmon, you had more of a personality than any of the protagonists. Completely agree. Then we have Ritza21, who says, while it was fun, while it lasted, back to separating the kids again. Seems it also time for the Megas for the other kids, 6 episodes of Mega time, which I don't mind the separation arc because at least it seems that we get characters actually having characters when they're separated. So I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, they're just not willing to give time to the characters when they're all together because it just takes too long and they can't have the Monster of the Week in there.
Yeah, which I'm honestly, if that's the case, I'm fine. I'm fine if they split up the characters because I'd rather them having characters with characters. Lastly, we have Ahmed, who says that Gurumon has a personality, which means Gabumon has one too, but they do agree with us on Agumon and Biyomon not having personalities. So, like, that was in regards to our conversation about characters having, like, the Digimon characters having personalities, and this time Biyomon has a personality, so
yay!
I guess that's good. I'm happy when our conversations are immediately proven wrong by the next episode, because it's good, because our conversations sometimes are negative, and this episode was less negative than other episodes, I guess. Alright everyone, so thanks for joining us. You can join us next time for episode 53, The Gecko Hot Springs Revolt. Do we have any predictions? Because I sure do have one that I'm prepared to be super disappointed that when it's not going to happen. So, in the next time on, we get a very, very, very quick flash of Kabukimon, who is Tailmon with the Digimental of Purity. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is either like Tailmon getting an evolution, like an armor evolution like Pegasusmon, or it's like Ponchomon, because Ponchomon is Patamon with the Digimental of Purity, and we have Gomamon eating Tailmon, and this is a Gomamon evolution. So I'm just sitting here like, I mean, I have a poll on Twitter, which is this going to be, and I actually left off Gomamon being an evolution from Gomamon. So I have this as Friendly Mon of the Week, Unfriendly Mon of the Week, or Tailmon Surprise Evolution. And yeah, as I said, I didn't add the possibility of it evolving from Gomamon, and I was like, oh no, this could be Gomamon. But I could just be a friendly mon of the week. So far there are 33 votes, and I'm leaving it open for like 6 days, well, 7 days from posting the poll, because by the next episode, this poll will be over. Anyway, so far 48.5% of people say that it's a Tailmon surprise evolution, 30.3% say it's an unfriendly mon of the week, and 21.2% say it's a friendly mon of the week. I want it to be an evolution, but I think it's going to be an unfriendly mon of the week. What do you think?
I think if it was going to be a surprise evolution, it would have been the next time on the Digimon Analyzer.
Nope, Ponchomon.
Yeah, but Ponchomon wasn't in the preview at all the previous week.
Yeah, but this was also a very, very small flash.
Yeah, but that's still more than
it was
Ponchomon
after
got.
the name. Oh yeah, Ponchomon was an outright surprise.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an unfriendly mon, but I really want it to be a surprise evolution.
I think it's going to be.
I don't.
I'm just waiting for the cops to drive past.
Yeah, I've had multiple times during this episode where there've been cop sirens, and I've been like, "Hey, let's time to play? Is that Evie or is that Maze?" Because I'm not sure if I can hear it because I can hear it from my ears outside of the room, or if I'm hearing it from my ears in my headphones. It's just wild. I'm having little guessing games every time that happens.
Well, my noise reduction tends to handle
it. It's a lot.
Yeah. But my prediction is that Shogun Gekumon's going to be pictured or put forward as the supposed good guy, or Kabukimon's the supposed bad guy. It's actually going to be the other way around.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my guess.
The synopsis that I read from this, it's not a spoiler because we've seen it in the preview, but the wording in the synopsis is Tonosama Gekumon chooses Gomamon as his wife.
I love that.
Which is just, I'm sitting here saying that is the best. That is the best. This is the best. This is the best thing ever. And also I'm glad we're going back to the onsen. I'm glad that Nanimon are probably going to be there, and Blossomon, and we get to see all that weirdness going on. Big, huge, gigantic fan of that, by the way.
I should start writing down my predictions so I can see if I'm actually right, because I forget every week.
Oh yeah, same. Except for this week, I don't think I'll forget the whole Kabukimon thing. Also, I just love Kabukimon's design. What a neato design.
It's very neato.
Very neato. Neatomon. Any other predictions?
I think I'm good.
Coolios. So, our Redbubble's linked in the description, and you can contact us and stay updated. You can email us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com. Finally gotten rid of the spam. Don't send us any more, please. And you can also comment on this episode on YouTube. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube, because we're almost at 10,000 subscribers. We're I'm just quickly opening it up again. We are 83 subscribers away from 10,000. So that's pretty exciting. So if you haven't subscribed, please do the thing. I also have been doing lots of Digimon card game unboxing videos, and I've been playing Pokemon Snap as well, so check out all of the videos that I do, because it's more than just the podcast, so please check that out. I put time into these. And Andy Way, don't know who Andy is, but Andy Way. So check that out. And you can follow us that translation on Twitter, and you can check out that poll that I just mentioned, which was, who is Kabukimon going to be? So check out Twitter and our Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We are LostinTranslationmon on all of them. We also had a discussion thread on With the Will, and one in the Digimon subreddit on Reddit. And you can also review us on any podcast catcher that you use. And if I see it, we'll read it out on the show. If I don't see it, please let me know that I haven't seen it, and I will read it out on the show because you would have pointed out to me. Yay! There's also the Patreon that you can consider joining, and you can do that from as little as $1 a month, and that gets you access to a listed Discord server, but there are higher levels, more rewards, such as unedited episodes, where it's just me not being able to speak at the start of the episode, and just me flubbing my lines, and probably more sounds of car alarms, and police going past, and ambulances going past, and fire trucks, and all exciting things that, I try to edit out as much as I can, except when I can't, and then it stays. Anyway, so you can listen to that if you would like to hear some noises. Anyway, so thank you to our current supporters on Patreon: Joe, Stephen Rees, who's Wildqueen64 on Archive of Rome, Kaidawashi, Chisai, who can follow on Twitter at Chisai236, Kyle, Lismet, who is a Lekmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Mono Sam, Anthony Keith from Gunwell Hunting, a Time to Rewatch podcast, Silverhead25, Magnus, Lucas, JCMon05, Patrick, Jason Unwanted, and Grey Tanuki. You can also make a one-off donation on PayPal, which you can find in the description. It's paypal.me/Edgemon. Or you can also donate to me on my coffee account, ko-fi.com/Airdra. And there's this new one that's like on YouTube has like a payment thing now, which is called like Perks or something. I don't know. I just know because YouTube was like, hey, there's more ways that people can give you money. And I'm just like, okay, if I remember, I will tell people about it. So if you're interested in doing that to support the show, you can do that. And also just watching our videos on YouTube in general with ad block off will also help support the show. So if you want to support the show without giving us money, you can just watch our videos and just leave them on the background with ad block off, and just we'll get like 1 cent a view or something, but that's 1 cent more than I had before, and that matters. So I didn't flub any of that outro, really. I stumbled over a few words, but I was able to recover.
Mm-hmm.
I would like everyone to appreciate the fact that I was able to say linked in the description, because apparently for like most episodes, I am just completely unable to say those words. So thank you so much, Evie, because I didn't stumble words, and it must be your presence that made me help, except for the start of the show where I just stumbled over every second word. Anyway, so Evie, thanks for joining me. Where can we find you?
You can find me on the Twitters at Evie Patamon and on the Moncast with Air and Quinn.
Where we talk about Pokemon, and sometimes I like Pokemon, but we're talking about tamers, which is something I'm talking about a lot lately, so I have a lot of words about tamers a lot of the time.
Now's a good time to catch up on the Moncast, because we're having a nice long break.
So yes, catch up on that, if you want to hear more of our voices. And if you don't, you should probably check it out anyway, because maybe we have some good things to say. Anyway, and we do. Of course, we always do. Anyway, so thank you so much, Evie, for joining me, and thank you, y'all, for listening in. And we will see you in the next one, so bye!
Bye!